Have you ever felt so focused on the future that the present maybe felt like an inconvenience? You tell yourself it's your vision, it's your discipline, it's drive, but what if it's something else? Hey, beautiful human, it's me, Rebecca Wiener McGregor, and welcome to another episode of Effective Immediately, the show where we talk subconscious transformation, abundance, and leadership, and I give you a mindset shift that you can make effective immediately. Okay, so today we're talking about something that a lot of high achieving women deal with, and that is clinging to the future to avoid the feeling of the present, the feeling of something you don't feel safe with in the present. Okay, so what if your hyper fixation on goals is actually your nervous system trying to outrun the present that doesn't feel safe? What if sitting still, being in the present moment, being with your family, being in the moment in your business, being in this moment is too much, is overwhelming, feels too yucky, feels too much, maybe you feel too much scarcity, too much pressure, too much of something. So your subconscious mind says, go to the future, go to the vision, focus on the vision right now, and then you won't have to deal with what's happening in the present. So I'm going to talk to you today about how you can come back to the power of the present without losing your ambition, without losing your momentum. All right, so this isn't about giving up your goals. We're not talking about that. You will never hear me tell anyone to give up on their goals. I believe that we are here for growth and that every new step that we take, every new growth that we have is our higher selves moving us forward, pulling us forward to the next version of ourselves. So your goals, and if you're here watching, you are a visionary person who has a lot of goals and has desire to make change in the world, to move the world, to heal the world, to help the world, to coach the world, to inspire the world, whatever your medicine is that you want to bring to the world. That's why you're here, to expand it and to make it more potent and to do it without losing yourself, right? Okay, so this really is about understanding the emotional cost of operating from a place of urgency, anxiety, or avoidance. And this will often feel like what I would describe as chasing energy, where you're constantly in the chase of the next thing. You're constantly in the, I've got to get the next thing. I got to have the next thing. I've got to get there. I won't be happy until I get there. I won't be who I want to be until I get there. And this is a very common thing. So give yourself a breath. Remember, we're not judging. We're just looking at the whole situation, looking with judgment, looking with curiosity. So zoom out just a little bit. If you have ever done this, there's a reason that you've done it. And it's not to beat yourself up about it. It's so that you can shift and make it easier. Okay, there's a way to make this easier and healthier and safer for your physical body and your emotional health as well. Okay, nice, easy breath. So some people are making their vision boards while their body is trying to tell them something right now, right? They're planning their future. They're planning their future vacations. They're planning their future vision, but there's so much in the future that they're ignoring what's happening right here in the present moment. The body might be screaming. The head might be screaming with thoughts. And the focus then just gets to move forward onto the vision, onto the future, onto what's next. What can I do? What can I create to make this feeling go away? But your nervous system does not lie. When the present moment feels unsafe, we seek out the future. It happens the other direction too, and we'll go into that in another episode. It happens also when we're ruminating about the past. But this future forward thinking is really lovely when it's not used as a mechanism to try to escape the present. Because what's happening, if you are using it as a mechanism in that way to escape the present, you're probably ignoring the anxiety, the nervous system, adrenal failure that you might be having. When the present feels unsafe, we try to go into something that we can control. And that's our subconscious mind doing it. Remember, it doesn't care so much about our happiness or our joy. It only cares about keeping us safe. And really, that just means alive. So be loving with yourself as you recognize this in yourself, feel this in yourself. Be gentle and loving with yourself about it, okay? The problem with this is that when we look to the future and we keep looking to the future, it keeps you from receiving what's already here. Let me give you just a very simple example as we talk through this together. Imagine you're me like 12 years ago, 10 years ago. I was living in a place that was not big enough for my family. And I kept being frustrated and pushing forward and setting the goal that we were going to get the house that we wanted and get out of there and be better, do great things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And because my nervous system was bothered by this, was under stress, as it usually is when we're moving or trying to move, right? I was angry and frustrated in the present. I remember one time stubbing my toe on the chair in the corner that I loved. I loved to sit there and meditate and read. But that day, the house felt so small and I was so frustrated and so excited about moving into the next house, the bigger house, that I was not enjoying the present moment anymore. Now, this is a very, very basic, simple example, right? I wasn't feeling the gratitude that I wanted to feel in that moment. I wasn't feeling the joy of what I already have. I was so focused on the future. And there are a lot of things about that house that I actually miss. And I wasn't giving myself the opportunity to enjoy those last moments. I wasn't letting myself receive what that place had given to me. I wasn't letting myself be calm, feel good, enjoy what I had there because I was so focused on the future. And because I was under stress, it was easier for me to think about the future than it was to think about what was happening in the present and all the stress that was happening there. Okay, so like I said, very basic example. But imagine that you might be using this as a coping strategy. You might be looking at the future, redoing your vision board, looking at Pinterest, redoing the things on Pinterest over and over and over again as a way to cope with what is in the present without actually dealing with what is in the present. Believing that success will actually make things better. Believing that this next thing, the achievement, the thing that you acquire, the person that you become actually makes things better. The subconscious pattern is, if I can just achieve enough, then I won't have to feel this anymore. If I can just hit this next level, then I won't feel the anxiety anymore. If I could just hit this next income, if I could just have this launch go the way that I want it to, if I could just sell this many books, if I could just get on this stage, if I could just fill in the blank, then I'll feel better. It's chasing happiness, chasing goals, chasing vision, and really ignoring. Because the problem is that day never comes. The goalpost always moves, and the peace remains out of reach. The happiness remains out of reach. And the same is true with abundance. As if we're not allowing ourselves to take care of what is in the present, no amount of success, no amount of happiness, no amount of income is going to make us feel better. We're just going to keep chasing the next level of it. You don't need another milestone. You need a nervous system that feels safe right now. Because the only thing that knocks you out of creativity and the ability to find solutions, create opportunities for yourself, is fear. And fear is rooted in those subconscious patterns that make your nervous system feel like it's been worn ragged. So give yourself some love. Give yourself some acknowledgement here. You can't heal in a constant state of chasing. That chasing energy that you get in where you are being on a mission, and that can feel so empowering, right? But often it can be masking emotional bypassing. What do I mean by that? If you haven't heard that term before, spiritual bypassing, emotional bypassing. When you do something, when you go off to learn something, to create something, to achieve something as a way of avoiding or pretending that the thing that you actually need to deal with isn't happening. This often comes up in healing, and we're going to talk about this in another episode coming up very soon, that learning the thing isn't actually healing. Awareness of the healing isn't actually the healing. Those can be bypassing as well. Okay, so this feeling of being on a mission, actually bypassing what's happening in your body, it's like, if I can just focus on the new thing, if I can just focus on the next thing, I won't have to feel what's happening. You might know someone in your life who is always active, always creating projects for themselves. They're the can't sit still person, right? It's hard for them to sit still and be quiet and be with themselves because old pain comes up from old trauma. Old hurts come up. And chasing a goal, chasing a project, chasing a vision is a form of escaping that feeling. Just like getting up and moving around and creating a new project. If you don't feel safe slowing down, your body won't receive the success that you're trying to call in. Let me say that again. If you don't feel safe slowing down, your body won't receive the success you're calling in. Because you will never feel grateful or joyful about it. When your body doesn't feel good, you're just going to keep chasing the next thing. And then the wins don't even feel good, right? The wins just feel exhausting. And then it's like, well, I've reached this level, but the feeling hasn't gone away. So now I've got to go for the next level and the next and the next. Pretty soon you're noticing that you're burned out, angry, resentful, frustrated, hurting, physically hurting. You might notice chronic pain, irritation, frustration, things going wrong with your body that don't make sense. A lot of that happens when there is unexpressed emotion from the past trauma. So you're feeling the wins, you're seeing the wins, right? But you're not enjoying the wins. They're exhausting you because now you've got this next win, but you still feel like crap. So you've got to move on to the next win. And your body, you might feel like your body is betraying you. Come on, get on board, feel great. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But that is your nervous system talking to you, telling you that you need to pause, that you need the healing that you need to get, that you know you've been avoiding. And you can be loving with yourself about that too, because your subconscious mind just wants you to be okay, right? And if slowing down doesn't feel safe, it's going to have you going faster and faster. But part of you knows that you can't sustain this way of living. But here is something really important. You are not behind, okay? You are right on time. Everything that is meant to be yours will always find you. That is a standard that I live by, and a standard that you can adopt for yourself if you like. Everything that you want becomes more available to you the more that you anchor into the present. And you could do that by healing your nervous system, by healing the trauma, going to the subconscious root and helping yourself feel better, mind, body, and spirit. True leadership is present leadership. So if you are wanting to move the masses, you are wanting to create change in the world, the most magnetic leaders in the world are grounded in the present. They listen, they feel, they trust. They feel into the situation to create the solution. They trust themselves to be able to make moves and to be in the present. The present can feel safe. When you shift your power from what's next to what's here right now, you become infinitely more powerful and peaceful. It's not about losing your ambition. It's not about losing your momentum. It's about unhooking from the fear that's been driving all of it. And that is your power move. Your presence creates more impact than your hustle ever would. Your presence creates more impact than your hustle ever would. Because it's simply not sustainable. You're not going to love it. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to feel the depths of the joy and celebration for every milestone if you're simply just doing those things to outrun the present and the way your body feels, and maybe even outrunning the past. So, bring this around. I'm going to give you a mindset shift that you can make effective immediately, okay? And I love this concept. I just want you to picture a waiting room in your mind right now. You know, you're in the waiting room. Usually if you're in a waiting room of some kind, there's some discomfort, but something better is coming, right? I want you to notice if you are treating the present like a waiting room, a place where you feel stalled, that you've got to get out of. You've got to move to the next stage. You've got to move on to the next level of your vision, the next level of your vision. And if you're constantly trying to escape the waiting room, you can come back to yourself right now. Come back to your breath. Come back to this present moment. I release the chase. I reclaim my peace. And I lead from presence, not pressure. Shall we put our hand on our heart and recite it again? I release the chase. Even just that part alone is so important. I release the chase, I reclaim my peace, and I lead from the present, not from pressure. If you are tired of this emotional pressure, you are being told internally somehow by your subconscious mind that you have to be doing more. You have to be creating more, producing more, doing more to deserve the life that you want, then it's time to come back to the present now. Reach out if you want to work together. There's probably a DM me button around here somewhere, or a link that you can connect with me to apply for my programs. You get to be in the present. You get to be excited and thrilled and eager for the future, but truly enjoying, feeling grateful, feeling safe, and celebrating the present. All right, take really good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.